Have you ever wondered why some people stay strong and mobile well into their 80s and 90s, while others begin struggling to walk, climb stairs, or even stand up from a chair much earlier in life? And what if I told you that one of the strongest predictors of how long you will live has almost nothing to do with your cholesterol numbers, your weight, or even your genetics, but instead has a lot to do with the strength and health of your legs? That might sound surprising at first, but your legs are far more than just muscles that help you move. They are one of the most powerful early warning systems your body has. Long before serious disease shows up in lab tests or scans, the legs often start showing subtle signals that something deeper inside the body isn't working properly. Today we're going to walk through some of the most important warning signs your legs can reveal about your health, and more importantly, what you can do to strengthen them, improve circulation, and dramatically support your longevity. And whether you're over 50, approaching retirement, or even in your 30s or 40s trying to stay ahead of future problems, what you learn today can change how you think about your health for the rest of your life. So let's start with the first major signal your legs can send. Section 1. Peripheral neuropathy, when the feet start talking. Imagine waking up one morning and noticing a strange sensation in the bottom of your feet. Maybe it's tingling, maybe burning, maybe numbness that feels like you're walking on cotton. For many people, that's how peripheral neuropathy begins. Peripheral neuropathy is one of the earliest warning signs that blood sugar is out of control. It often appears in people with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, sometimes years before the condition is formally diagnosed. The reason this shows up in the feet first is actually fascinating. The nerves that travel from your brain and spinal cord all the way down to your toes are incredibly long. And the farther away a nerve is from the heart, the more vulnerable it becomes to poor circulation and damage from high blood sugar. When blood sugar stays elevated for long periods of time, it begins damaging both the small blood vessels and the nerves themselves. And because the feet sit at the end of this long nerve pathway, they tend to show symptoms first. This is why many people with diabetes experience burning feet, numbness, tingling, or loss of sensation. But here's something most people don't realize. Your body actually keeps blood sugar under extremely tight control. At any given moment, the total amount of sugar circulating in your entire bloodstream is roughly about 1 teaspoon. Just 1 teaspoon. When that amount begins rising, even slightly, the body responds aggressively by releasing insulin to push that sugar out of the blood and into the cells. But over time, when someone consumes high amounts of refined carbohydrates and sugar, the system begins to break down. Either the body becomes resistant to insulin, or the pancreas becomes exhausted and can't produce enough of it anymore. And that's when blood sugar begins damaging tissues throughout the body, including the nerves in your legs and feet. Section 2. Swollen ankles, a circulation warning. The next warning sign your legs can show is something many people ignore: swelling in the ankles and feet. Have you ever taken off your socks at the end of the day and noticed deep indentations around your ankles? Or maybe you've seen someone whose lower legs look puffy or swollen? That condition is called edema. In more advanced cases, if you press your finger into the ankle and it leaves an indentation that stays there for several seconds, it's known as pitting edema. This isn't just a cosmetic issue. It often signals deeper problems involving circulation, the kidneys, the liver, or the heart. To understand why, imagine how blood moves through your body. Your heart pumps oxygen-rich blood through the arteries to every tissue in your body, from your brain all the way down to your toes. Once the oxygen and nutrients are delivered, that blood then travels back toward the heart through the veins. But here's the catch. Unlike arteries, veins don't have strong muscular walls to push blood forward. Instead, they rely heavily on movement, especially the movement of your leg muscles. Every time you walk, contract your calves, or climb stairs, those muscles squeeze the veins and help push blood back toward the heart. When someone is sedentary for long periods of time, that pumping mechanism weakens. Fluid begins pooling in the lower legs, causing swelling and increasing stress on the heart. Section 3. Restless legs. A nutrient clue. Now let's talk about a condition that drives millions of people crazy at night. Restless legs syndrome. If you've ever experienced that strange urge to constantly move your legs when you're trying to sleep, you know how frustrating it can be. Some people describe it as an uncomfortable crawling sensation inside the legs. Others say it feels like electrical energy building up that can only be relieved by moving. Interestingly, this condition is often tied to nutritional imbalances and blood sugar instability. High sugar intake, alcohol consumption, and refined carbohydrates can deplete key nutrients that help calm the nervous system. Two of the most important nutrients involved here are vitamin B1 and magnesium. Vitamin B1 plays a crucial role in nerve function and energy metabolism. Magnesium, on the other hand, helps relax muscles and regulate nerve signaling. When these nutrients are depleted, the nervous system can become hyperactive, especially at night when the body is trying to relax. And poor sleep itself becomes another major factor in longevity. Chronic sleep deprivation increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and cognitive decline. So something that starts as restless legs can quietly become a much larger health issue. Section 4. Blood clots. A silent risk. Another serious condition connected to leg health is deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. This occurs when a blood clot forms in one of the deep veins of the leg. The danger isn't just the clot itself, it's what can happen if that clot breaks loose. If it travels through the bloodstream and reaches the lungs, it can cause a life-threatening condition known as a pulmonary embolism. Interestingly, many heart attacks and strokes are also triggered by clots rather than just plaque buildup. Certain lifestyle factors increase clot risk dramatically. Prolonged sitting, dehydration, chronic stress, smoking, high sugar diets. Movement becomes incredibly important in preventing this. Which brings us to a fascinating muscle in your body that many researchers now call your second heart. Section 5. The solius muscle, your second heart. Deep inside your calf sits a muscle called the solius. This muscle has a remarkable job. Every time it contracts, it helps pump blood from your lower legs back toward the heart. In fact, the solius muscle can push nearly as much blood as the heart itself when it's active. Researchers discovered that even small repetitive movements of this muscle can dramatically improve circulation and blood sugar regulation. One simple movement, known as the solius push-up, involves sitting in a chair and repeatedly lifting your heels while keeping the front of your foot on the ground. It may look simple, but this movement activates that powerful circulation pump in your calves. For people who sit for long periods, especially those working at computers, this small exercise can make a surprisingly big difference. Section 6. Sarcopenia, the muscle loss that predicts longevity. Perhaps the most important leg-related predictor of longevity is something called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia refers to age-related muscle loss. Beginning as early as our 30s, adults gradually start losing muscle mass if they don't actively work to maintain it. By the time someone reaches their 70s or 80s, severe muscle loss can dramatically increase the risk of falls, fractures, disability, and even mortality. Muscle is far more than just strength. It is one of the most metabolically active tissues in the body. Your muscles help regulate blood sugar, support hormone balance, improve circulation, and even influence brain health. Which is why maintaining leg strength becomes one of the most powerful longevity strategies you can focus on. Section 7. A simple longevity test. There's actually a simple movement test researchers often use to evaluate functional longevity. It's called the sitting rising test. The idea is simple. Sit down on the floor and then stand back up without using your hands for support. Sounds easy, right? But studies have shown that people who can perform this movement smoothly tend to have better mobility, stronger muscles, and longer lifespans. If this movement is difficult, that doesn't mean something is wrong. It simply means there's room to strengthen mobility and muscle function. Practicing squats, hip mobility exercises, and balance training can gradually improve this ability over time. Section 8. Supporting circulation and muscle health. So how do we actually protect and strengthen the legs long term? There are several powerful strategies. First, regular movement. Walking, strength training, stair climbing, and even short bursts of activity throughout the day can dramatically improve circulation. Second, proper nutrition. Muscle tissue requires adequate protein to maintain itself. Electrolytes like magnesium and potassium support muscle contraction and relaxation. Vitamin D supports muscle strength and nerve signaling. Third, improving blood vessel health. Compounds like nitric oxide help arteries relax and expand, improving circulation. Certain foods such as leafy greens, arugula, and beets help support nitric oxide production naturally. And finally, sleep and recovery. Muscle repair and hormonal balance happen primarily while we sleep. Without adequate rest, the body simply cannot rebuild and maintain muscle efficiently. Section 9. The big picture. When you step back and look at the big picture, your legs are telling a powerful story about your health. They reveal how well your circulation works. They reveal how stable your blood sugar is. They reveal how strong your muscles remain as you age. And perhaps most importantly, they reveal how well your body adapts to movement, stress, and recovery. Longevity isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about maintaining strength, mobility, and independence for as long as possible. And your legs play one of the most important roles in making that happen. So the next time you think about health, don't just think about numbers on a lab test. Think about how strong your legs are. Think about how easily you can move, walk, squat, climb stairs, and stay active. Because in many ways, the strength of your legs reflects the strength of your entire body. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.